morning and welcome back, everybody. I am JJ and that is Deacon, and we are back. I was gone for a week for vacation. Uh, it was mostly a staycation. It started off camping, but then it got real cold, and my kids wouldn't stay in the sleeping bag, and my back hurt, and
I
so we aborted the camping pretty quick.
I
After a
didn't
day or
ask
two.
this question at the time that last when you said that you were taking your family camping. I,
Yeah.
I didn't ask this question because I live in a different region in the
Uh-huh.
world than you do.
Yeah.
But the first question that popped into my mind was, what kind of wacky Looney Tune takes his family with two young children camping in the fucking winter spring? It's technically not spring yet. It's spring at 4:24 this afternoon Central Time. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
technically not spring yet. So you went camping in the winter. But then I
Yeah.
thought, JJ lives in Texas.
Yeah.
It's probably not
Yeah.
24 degrees outside in Texas
No.
like it is here in Kentucky.
Right. Man,
29
something's up with
degrees
my
this
camera.
morning.
My camera's being flippy. Yeah, no, look, dude, it was 85 degrees. It was
Oh,
85 degrees the week before we went camping. And I was like, this is gonna be
well, it was
fine. It's
70
gonna be
something
fine.
here, but that was
Yeah.
like a fluke little thing.
And then like the day we go camping, the day, it's like, oh, we're gonna drop the temperature 30 degrees. It'll be
Yeah.
like 45.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, well, we could probably still. Oh, it's gonna stay 45 all day. Okay, this isn't fun anymore. And like yesterday, it was like 35. I was like, what is up? Why? But that's I think everybody in every state always has this saying of like, oh, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute and it'll change, right? Like
That's a Kentucky thing, yeah.
yeah,
That's
I think every state says
every
that, and
state
they all
says that.
every state thinks it's their own state's thing. But
Mhm.
like, dude, it was 85, and then it was like, it'll be 30. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's
Just
cold.
like, every state has that meme where, when it gets super hot outside, it'll be, when we go through the summer hot spell that we always do, every state will have that meme where it's like, if you think it's hot, that level in Mario where the sun tries to kill you, that's Kentucky right now. That's Texas right now. That's Arkansas right now. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
right.
wondering why you went camping in the winter, but I was not going to judge you.
Well,
Did you have a good time? I mean, while you camped, or was it
I
more?
mean,
I mean, to
it,
be
we,
don't give me any fluff bullshit that you would give to coworkers or whoever's fucking watching if your wife is watching. Tell me, really,
yeah.
was it a
Uh,
miserable freaking experience?
no, it wasn't miserable except at night. Except at night. And okay, so the reason we went camping is because my wife's a professor, and they have a college. They have a spring break, so
Oh
there's
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
week in the middle of the semester where like we're either gonna go do something or she's gonna stay home and just be, bored or whatever.
Well,
So it was an
she's
opportunity.
worked a while, and yeah, it's a vacation. Yeah, let her get out and do
Yeah.
something. Yeah, absolutely.
And we originally were going to go for 4 days, and then for some other circumstances we cut it back to 2, and then because of the weather we were like, nah, we're good, we're done early. It was great except for sleeping. The sleeping part was messed up. We did this last year, and we took the kids, and we put like mats down and then sleeping bags and blankets, and cold wasn't a problem. It got cold, but it wasn't a problem. Well, but last year my wife was like, I can't sleep on the ground anymore, back or whatever. It's not comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
So this year I took 2 cots. I had a cot for her, a cot for me. I didn't have a double up cot. That would have worked. But we had 2 cots, and then the kids are in their sleeping bags, and my wife's in a cot in her bag. She can sleep, but I'm like freezing cold. My sleeping bag is not rated for whatever
Let me
whatever
tell you.
cold ass temperature drop.
Let me tell you. I'm fixing to be a 46-year-old man. I've been camping before. It was fun.
Yeah.
26 fucking years ago when I was
Yeah,
20
right.
years old. 46 years old now. My body hurts in places. Look, after that axe throwing the other day, I cannot lift my arm past this right here.
Dude,
I
2
still am
weeks
hurting
ago.
all week long, and I'm fixing to go to the doctor today because of it. I think I've tore something in my arm. And axe throwing. I ache. So there's no
I
way.
was
If you were to tell me we're going camping, I'd be like, what did I do? What did I do? Why do I have to go?
Yeah.
Why?
So two or 3 weeks ago, I was out walking with my kids on the path over the levee down by the creek over here, and we're out there, and I'm like, "Oh, here, watch this, kids!" And I picked up a rock and I just chuck it in the pond, and they flew. I threw a fucking rock. I think I tore my shoulder.
Dude, it was like 5 or 6 years ago, and, my sons were younger, they're like 14, 15, 16 now. They're fixing to turn 15, one's fixing to turn 16, that's why I said 14,
Yeah.
16. But anyway, they were running and playing in the yard, and we were doing something, and they were racing, and I was kinda jogging, and they were gonna try to beat me, and I took off running just as fast as I could, man, just everything that I had, and I beat them, and they were like I remember Deacon or Alex, one of them was like, "Whoa, Dad, I didn't know you could run that fast." I was like, "Yeah, your dad still got it in it." And then when they looked away, I looked at Ashley and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." I feel like I'm going to die. Don't ever let me do that again.
Yeah.
I got to run.
I've proved myself to them. They will remember it. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's been a week off, but we are back and we are ready to talk about the news. I go on vacation for a couple of days and you guys collapsed the banking system. It's crazy. I don't know what you were thinking. Don't know what was going on. Before we get into that, though, we're going to talk. Let's see. I want to talk about this. I am pretty. This news broke on Friday. Last Friday, we should have had episode 5 of Fringe, but the show wasn't on last week. So this Friday we'll do episode 5 of The Fringe. But last Friday, while we were off the air, we didn't get a chance to address it.
Yeah.
The news broke that Lance Reddick was found in his apartment, and this was such a bummer, man.
Yeah, I love
And
Detective Broyles, man. He's awesome.
Broyles, and he was on The Wire. I never watched The Wire. I
never
watched The
watched The
Shield.
Wire, but I've had a lot of people tell me to watch it, that it was really good.
Yeah, it's
I
gotten
haven't heard
like
any bad
massive
things about it.
accolades, and I've
Yeah.
seen this guy in tons of stuff.
Yeah, I've
And
seen him in a
it-
ton of stuff too. He's an odd-looking fellow. He's just got he's not a weird-looking guy. He's just he doesn't look like everyone else.
distinct.
He's a very distinct-looking fellow.
distinct,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
better term. He's a very distinct-looking fellow.
And he has a voice that's just like
Mhm.
he has the
Mhm.
voice that was just like, oh, okay, you're the boss. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, he had that
Whoever,
vocal presence that would make you when he
yeah,
started to talk, he owned the
like,
room.
oh, I'm listening. Whatever you say, I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
that
that.
was kinda sad. Did they ever say what he died from?
I mean, I haven't. I don't know if they've had an autopsy yet or any of that stuff. But this is Lance Reddick. If you don't know the name, he was famous for playing authoritarian characters and like cops and stuff. And
He
60
fit a
years
mold
old.
really well.
Yeah, I mean, look,
An acting mold.
you do. You have a kind of part you play and make a career out of it. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I hope it wasn't one of those died suddenly things where he just dropped dead from, I don't know, some heart thing or adult, sudden adult death syndrome. Is that what we got now?
Yeah, or people have heart attacks. I mean, we honestly don't know. I mean, the comments on this news story were like, oh no, he died. And then immediately after that, well, SAG requires the actors get the vaccine, and I'm like, oh, I mean, it could have been COVID, it could have been a reaction, it could have just been 60.
Could have been anything.
Sometimes you're 60 and you just turn off and you just.
Yeah, I'm saying that, I'm not saying that he died suddenly from the vaccine that he probably had. He probably could have died from a meteor hitting him in the head.
Okay.
What the hell was that?
Hey, this is weird. I actually hear a train near my house today, everybody. Morning, Wobbly Bits. Morning, Brian. Wanted to say, hey, how are you guys doing? Brian just wanted to buy a loaf of bread. Brian, I don't know what you're talking about. I think Deacon's hunting for maybe a raccoon. Yeah, I'm not sure what the cause of death was. I think people said natural causes, but I don't know. All I wanted to say is that Deke, don't go in the basement. Don't go in the basement, dude. Have you ever seen a monster movie? You do
I don't have
not.
a basement here. Oh, I'm not scared of that shit. I would be the guy. I am the guy in the monster movie. Seriously, this is me. I can't help this. Ashley's pointed this out. I'm the guy that's like, what is that sound? Is that a monster in there? And I'm like, hang on. I'll go look.
Oh, and
I'm the first guy killed in the monster movie because
you're
I'm the, I'll
literally
go look.
you're literally wearing a red shirt.
Yeah, I'm literally wearing a red shirt. That's hilarious.
All right.
Yeah, no,
Let's.
yeah, that's Detective Broyles. That's sad. Yeah.
I mean, I think it is. I liked him a lot, but 60 years old. Reality is, like I think we think like, oh, 40 is the new 30 or whatever, because like we're 40 and like we feel young, right? But like, 25, 30 years ago, if you were 40, you're like, oh, dude, you're halfway dead. You are halfway dead. And the reality is, 60 comes around, and then like
Oh,
sometimes.
don't think that I haven't had that thought before of I think am I halfway past my life? I think I'm halfway. I think I'm over halfway past my life. I have less than half my life to go.
Hey,
I
check this
thought that.
out. Your sexiest subscriber is now following. Thanks. All right.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put a little star on that. Mm.
You're the red shirt. Jeremy's cracking me up over here.
Okay. Deke, let's talk movies for a minute.
All right.
We've been trying to talk about movies a little bit on Mondays. I've been trying to bring up the box office numbers and see what's going on. As you know, Ant-Man and the Wasp came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it finally happened. I've been waiting for I was waiting for the cross of death to happen. So check this out. This is the weekend box office, I believe adjusted for inflation. Yeah, the weekend box office for Ant-Man and the Wasp has crossed. This is the death cross. It's made less money than the prior movie. Quantum Mania with Kang and Jonathan Majors and the whole future of the MCU riding on it like a fat man on a horse is it's a flop. It's flopping
I just
right
don't
now.
think. I mean, I think it's ludicrous for these people to assume that these movies are going to be as big, if not bigger, than anything they've ever put out. I'm sorry, you're not going to get that magic again. I don't care if you have a superstar freaking story, comic book story that you're doing, a whole Kree Skull War thing that's going to be awesome. You're not
Yeah.
going to get that magic back because we're burnt out on superhero movies. This is coming from two Marvel geek dads
Love this
that
stuff.
love
And
comic books. We're sick of comic book hero movies.
I have
I
a
really am.
stack of comics on my desk.
I'm sick of them. And the reason we're sick of these movies is because you have taken what we loved and you got us into it because we had the technology to visualize it on the screen for the first
Right.
time. And we got to see Iron Man and Thor and the Hulk and the Avengers and all this really cool stuff. But
Right.
then you started fucking with our people. You started fucking with our brand, okay? We're just a bunch of nerdy geeks and we like what we like. We didn't bother anybody at school. We walked around with our freaking glasses and our comic books and we didn't bother anybody. We didn't bother you in your sports. We didn't bother you in your basketball and your football. Leave us a fucking alone. So now that the nerd is the cool person in these last 2 decades, you decide to bastardize everything that we love. And you've taken everything that we love and you've turned it woke, however you define that fucking word, because that word is like the word classic. It has a million fucking definitions. So however you defined woke, however you define non-Christian, non-American family values, whatever you hold true, that is what they're doing to every fucking thing.
I mean,
So that is why we, the comic book geeks that love superheroes and make our wives and significant others sick, because we're like, did you know that Cable went back in time and killed Apocalypse? But that's the reason why they're both still alive. You know,
right. So
don't want
what
any
they
more
did,
fucking
what they
superheroes.
did, what they did with the Marvel movies initially was just honestly magical, because they took the things on the page and they put it on screen, and we finally were able to kind of like visualize it. And
Right.
then while they were doing that, they cracked the formula of like, oh, this is how these stories go, and this format works. And then they just kept cranking out that format, and it was like, oh, okay, you guys are doing that one again. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time. Now the Russo brothers flipped it up a little bit because they did Infinity War, and that was a very complicated gig, and there was tons of characters on screen, and it was very difficult to balance it all, and it was super, super satisfying. And then everything after that was back to formula, back to formula, back to formula, back to formula.
That's because you've put in a bunch of people. The Russo brothers cared about the product. You know, I watched Community. Community, Dan Harmon and the Russo brothers made Community basically, and it's freaking it's brilliant. The Russo brothers cared about their product. Everybody else besides John Favreau, I love him. I think that they look at it as a moneymaker. So
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Look at Stranger Things. The reason I bring this up is because I'm a geek. I'm a D&D nerd too. Okay. I've played D&D since I was 13. And so Stranger Things comes on the scene. It's super popular. Everybody in the country loves Stranger Things and watches Stranger Things because Americans are lemmings. Okay. We're parrots. We're lemmings.
yeah.
We will follow and do anything that the other person is doing. If we say it's popular, and everybody thinks it's popular. So everybody got into D&D there for about 30 fucking minutes, didn't they? Let me give you another prime example, kiddos. Let me give you another prime example. You know that fucking song that came, JJ, you might not know, but you know that fucking song that came off of, I've told my kids this 1,000 times, that came off of Stranger Things, that running on empty or running, you know what I'm talking about?
It's been a while since I watched Stranger Things. I watched the first season, and then I watched the second season. I was like,
It's called "Running Up That Hill" by Kate
okay,
Bush, and it was the
okay,
song that was featured in the movie, the character or the TV show Max, and that was her song that kind of got her going, running up that hill.
okay,
And that song by Kate Bush became a number one fucking song 30 plus years after it was released because of that TV show.
right,
And
right.
this is what I've tried to tell my children. No one had ever fucking heard of that song in the 80s. That song never broke the top 40 in America. No
Right.
one had ever heard of that song. All right. So that is proof that people in America are lemmings. All right. That song goes on a popular TV show that everybody's watching in a very popular scene. And all of a sudden, everybody has to listen to how cool that song was. That song has been a piece of shit for 40 fucking years. I think it's still a piece of shit song. It was
Okay.
for that part in the movie or in the TV show, but it's people are fucking lemmings, and that is it's wrong with these fucking people in charge of these comic book movies. We're seeing, oh my god, we've got this, we can make money, and that's why the lemmings don't care. Their attention span is 5 minutes, whereas the real fans of your product, me and JJ, are fucking sick to death of what you've done to it. So you've burned us entirely. So what has happened? They have not retained any of the people that they hoped to get.
Yeah.
And they've lost their fan base that was there.
Well, it's definitely, I think the overwhelming feeling, and maybe I could be disconnected. I'll give you that. But my overwhelming feeling is that the audience they don't care. And the numbers are saying the audience doesn't care about anything Marvel's doing right now. Look at this. Just look at these numbers for a minute. I know you love numbers and graphs. You can see the thing crossing over, but look at this. Opening weekend, Ant-Man Quantumania made $107 million, right? And that's a gain over the previous movie. And then
First time it's available, yes, it's gonna have the most money.
Every weekend following, The Quantumania made less than Ant-Man and the Wasp. It made this is adjusted for gross, but every weekend it made less money than than the prior movie. The second weekend, Wasp made more money. The third weekend, the fourth weekend, it's a flop. And here's the thing: you can't build the future of the MCU on the back of a movie that nobody gives one fuck about.
Right.
So what's going to happen? I mean, like then the next thing out is like in 6 weeks or whatever. Guardians 3. It's the last James Gunn movie. It's the third movie in the Guardians trilogy. The Guardians movie has a lot of goodwill. You know, it has a kind of a musical heart. It's got kind of like an emotional core about dealing with dads and families and stuff like that. But if that movie doesn't make money, Disney's got a problem on their hands, because they have posted up posters everywhere of like, this is the future of the MCU, and the future of the MCU is not good. They're going to have to pivot. I don't know what they're going to do, but you can't sell this shit. It's not working. All right. Hold on. We got one more though. It's not just Marvel. Like, I don't know, 2 months ago, DC came out and they said, hey, we're going to put James Gunn, who made all those wonderful Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad flicks. We're going to, one of them, the sequel that was good. We're going to put him in charge of the DCU, along with some other dude to do finances, but he's going to be the creative dude in charge of the DCU. And James Gunn comes out and it's like, okay, so we're going to have like, we're going to have the Shazam movie. We're going to have like the Beetle movie. We're going to have like the Flash movie. And the Flash movie is going to erase all of that other stuff and start a new thing.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, wait a minute. The Flash can go back in time. Let's let him erase all this other bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they would have totally done that in Marvel, if they would have been like, all right, Quicksilver goes back in time and erases all these X-Men movies, I'd have been like, okay, I'm fine with that.
I mean, you don't like the X-Men movies, the original ones?
No. God, no.
Dude, X-Men 2 is pretty good. X-Men 2 is pretty good.
Screw that shit. Those
all
first
right, we'll have to argue about that another day. Now, some of them are not good, but X-Men 2 is all right. X-Men 3 was not. Okay, so basically, James Gunn and the DC and Warner Brothers are trying to sell us like, hey, you need to go watch these 3 movies, and then the new DC universe will start where you can forget about those 3 movies and we can start watching these new ones. So it's like, why do we need to watch those 3 movies?
I know.
So the first one out of the gate is Shazam.
It's going to tell a story. The reason you got to watch those 3 movies.
You think? I don't think so.
Because
I think you're like,
I wonder if after the credits they might have a scene every time.
Oh, maybe. Well, they had to retool this thing a bunch of times. They were like, okay, we're gonna have like Superman in it and Black Adam, and Black Adam movie sucked, and let's cut that out. And Superman is fired, let's cut that out.
You mean tell you why I think Black Adam sucked so bad?
Did you watch
honestly?
it?
No,
because it's on HBO. I haven't watched it yet.
No, let me tell you why I think it sucked. Why it? Because
I would love to know.
Because The Rock and everybody tried to tell us that it was fucking awesome. I get sick of people trying to tell me how fucking awesome shit is.
I thought we are,
but that sometimes that shit backfires.
See, here's the thing:
and
lemmings have to follow other lemmings.
Right?
Lemmings, they follow their peers. You can't just get up and be like, "Go this way, put money in my pocket."
Influencers are a thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, nobody really cared about Black Adam, and I mean, I think they thought that maybe they thought they were going to get a little clout with the word black in the name, and having the Rock
no, I thought the entire thing was riding on the Rock. And make no mistake, Black Adam was a flop. If a movie doesn't make 2.5 times its production budget, it's a flop, and that movie did not make $500 million. And we have flop. We're going to at the end of this era. Superhero movies are not just going to be like tired. We're going to have nuked the genre where people are going to be like, no, it's toxic. You put money into a superhero money, you're going to just lose money. You're not going to get a return on your investment.
Movies we will have after this are freaking Velocipaster type B movies. They won't even be B movies, man. They'll be that janky shit that you're like, and you know what? Honestly, some of the freaking movies that I've seen, the superhero stuff that I've seen on YouTube, The
Yeah.
movies, the independent movies that they've made,
Yeah.
pretty freaking good, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not top of the line shit,
Right.
but they're pretty
You
good.
know what it is?
There's a cable movie out on YouTube that's pretty
Seriously?
long. Yeah, it's freaking good. The dude that plays Cable in this movie, in this little film, is really good.
So
It's really
the
good.
thing is, the people that make those things on YouTube, those are aspiring film creators,
Yeah,
aspiring filmmakers
yeah,
that are there that want to just break in, and they're
yeah,
like, I need to demonstrate that I can do
yeah,
story. I need to
absolutely.
demonstrate I can run the camera. I need to demonstrate I can do some simple special effects. There is a totally like badass uh, like Robin fan film from like 15, 20 years ago that's on YouTube. That's like, oh, dude, I mean, they care. These people don't care. This is a job. This is a job that they don't care about very much. They say they care. They're like, oh, I love comics. I love superheroes. And they don't care that much, dude. They're like, mostly I like driving around in my expensive car and getting a big fat paycheck. All right, so Shazam, Fury of the Gods opened. I don't know if it opened this weekend or last weekend, but we've got a story here from the Hollywood Reporter. So it's not like Bounding into Comics is shitting on this thing. This is Hollywood Reporter. The box office, Shazam Fury of the Gods opens to a dismal 30.5 million domestic. So this is the second movie in the Shazam franchise. It has Zachary Levi, who's a very likable guy. I personally don't see him as a superhero so much, but whatever. He's very likable, and for this kind of version of this character, that works okay. It's got all of the other people in it that are also Shazamming that I don't even know their name, and it had them fighting against I don't know some one of the gods that he stole the power from. I didn't care. I mean, I'll watch it whenever it gets on HBO because the first Shazam movie was kind of fun, but I'm not going to the theaters for that. And then also, it's not going to be connected to the future in any significant way because they're going to do the Flash movie eventually, and they're going to erase everything that was Snyderverse. And this is Snyderverse adjacent. And they're going to erase everything that was Snyderverse. And then, it's going to be like, here, buy all the new Batman movies and the new Superman stuff or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. It looks like the audience is just not super interested in watching Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Let's see. And here, let me pull the. I think it's too early for the box office to have projections, but I can compare it with the first Shazam movie from 2019. And this is not a good sign, guys. Not a good sign. The first Shazam movie had an opening weekend of $20 million the first Friday night. And it had a $53 million opening weekend, the first opening weekend. Shazam 2 has made 40% of that.
We're not gonna have enough time for the 70 million stories
I
about
know.
everything else
No,
we've got.
we took a whole week off. We took a whole week off. It's Monday. I want to talk about movies a little bit. So Shazam Fury of the Gods is starting off making less money. So this curve is only going to go down here. So we have another flop on our hands. Okay, that's enough for that. I think we got the point. All right, Deacon, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about China paying the Bidens, or do you want to talk about the baking infrastructure collapse?
I don't know. I guess I'm sorry. I was thinking, I don't care about movies as much as some people do, I guess. I mean, I just don't give a shit if they make money or not. I don't care. That doesn't bother. I don't. But then I thought, is it because that I've been in radio for 30 years and I've always been thrown with this every goddamn Monday? That's a radio topic. Turn it to any fucking morning show, the Wacky Zoo Crew morning show, and one of their fucking bits this morning is going to be box office numbers this week because that's an easy bit. And I've just, that Monday morning box office numbers bit is just one of those that's just like, that's as creative as we can get. All right, let's stick that next to birthdays, because we're always going to read celebrity birthdays. Today's Tina Turner's birthday.
Well, sorry. I see, here's the thing. These numbers represent the actual collapse and failure of these fucking idiots.
I agree, but I don't
Why
like
can't they make
to
stuff
so
that's
much time.
awesome?
All right, let's
Okay.
talk about. I don't care what we talk about.
All
Something.
right. All right. So here's the thing. I was camping. I don't exactly know what was going on with the banking collapse. I kind of got some highlights. Were you following it close?
I don't give a shit about those fucking rich people.
Well,
Those
what
damn
happens?
people. What I could tell you what's going to happen, and I don't even know what happened. Okay, I don't
They're gonna
even know
take your
what
money.
happened, but I know what happened. They took my money. The government bailed out this private fucking organization again. All right,
Uh-huh.
that's what they did. All right, but I can't get. If I get $600 fucking dollars, I got to pay that fucking shit back. Right?
Or IRS
Right?
is coming after you.
Or the IRS is going to come after me with one of their fucking 85,000 armed fucking agents. Okay. So
Right.
I don't know. I didn't read. I don't care about this bank collapse because it has nothing to do with me, because I know that no matter how much I get mad and froth at the mouth, the government's still going to give them all my fucking money, because we can't have them collapsing, whatever the fucking excuse they're going to use. Fuck them. Have them collapse. Maybe that's what this country needs, is the goddamn banking system to collapse before y'all will actually fucking do something.
So I'm going to just give you my understanding of what's happened here. So there was a bank, and there was not just one bank. There's like several banks that have failed in the last week, which is crazy. And they're
Because they're
huge
all on a
banks.
stupid fucking banking model, and they got a bunch of fucking idiots running their show.
Right. So this SVB bank was in the tech sector, Silicon Valley Bank, and they had they had people with money, their own money invested and deposited in the banks. They had small businesses using the banks, and they had capital investors that invested in the bank. Now, the SVB bank invested, I believe, partially in crypto and maybe some other stuff. And the bank had in investments had something like 175 million in asset, 175 billion in assets, but they had 209 billion in obligations. So they had less money on hand than they owed their customers and whatnot. That's upside down. Can't run a bank upside down. The federal government I think the California told them to come in and take over. Then Biden, or the whoever's in charge of the banking system, whichever government branch that is a tendril of the Biden administration, it's basically said, oh, it doesn't matter what the FDIC cap is. Every bank that's federally licensed has a FDIC cap that is taxpayer money. Will promise the depositors you can get your money back to 250,000. That's the cap. Unless the Biden administration just says, oh, we're going to set up this reserve fund, and then we'll pay anybody that has deposits, but we're not going to pay investors. We're going to pay people that have deposits, no matter what the limit was. So, FDIC cap be damned. But if they're investors, we're not going to pay them. And where do you think the FDIC cap money comes from? That's hello, taxpayer. You're paying for this stuff. So bank gets to do bad business.
So remember this: the next time you're driving in your hometown and you're driving down the interstate or something, and your roads need repairing, or your infrastructure needs repairing, or something's going wrong, remember that your money went to bail out. Instead of fixing the roads and making sure our children are safe in schools, they went to bail out a fucking bank, a private bank whose headquarters, whose is worth more than your whole family will ever make in their entire lives.
Oh, easily. I mean, it's billions, and yeah. So, okay, now maybe this all could have been circumvented if, say, the Federal Reserve had audited the bank a year in advance and found out that they had some dangerous business practices and corrected course, right? Maybe that could have saved things. Well, it turns out that the Federal Reserve had audited the bank over a year in advance, back in 2021, and they identified dangerous business practices and gave them until July 2022 to fix things. And then, the bank didn't. They didn't.
Oh, and
So
what do they do? You just get a small fine, like a $5,000
I don't
fine
know.
or
They
something
didn't. I mean,
because you
like
didn't fix it.
nothing
Goodness.
happened.
That's what a lot of these fucking people do is when they get
Trust the
fined for
government.
something, it's a small ass fine, and they're just like, "Fucking just eat it."
Yeah, it's like, oh well, we're over leveraged by like $40 billion, but yeah, okay, you're gonna give us like a $500,000 fine or something.
Yeah.
Okay, drop in the bucket. All right. Now it's probably more complicated than that, but that's what I understand. I was in the woods. But it's not, dude. The government was totally aware of what these people were doing and did nothing to stop it. And you think the government's going to do anything to make your life better? They're fully, everybody top to bottom is fully incompetent.
I like that excuse though. Can I start using that excuse? Hey man, I don't know. I was in the woods.
I was in the woods. I don't
The
know.
woods. I don't know.
Internet
I
barely
like
worked.
I like that excuse. I'm just gonna start saying
I
that.
was in the
You know, I
woods.
don't know. I was in the woods.
This is
Where you
the
been in the
best
woods?
reason to go camping. When the IRS comes back and they're like, "Hey, you owe us some money," I was like, "Hold
I don't know.
on,
I was in the
I
woods,
was camping. I didn't get that email."
and I was in the woods.
All right, that is. I don't know what's going on with my stuff over here. Let's talk about this super interesting story.
Country.
Apparently,
My bad.
I got
All right,
noise
I had to do
happening
that
in
real
my
quick.
pocket.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
that
me.
was you.
No, sorry, I had just real quick.
So, Deacon, I know you are a big fan of C-SPAN and watching congressional hearings.
I actually schedule my whole day around that. So it's funny. We've never talked about that, but that's weird that you just kind of picked that out.
Yeah, right. So, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has released some information on the current diggings in of the Oversight Committee into the Hunter Biden / Biden family syndicate. What's going
So,
on
so
now?
before we get into this, can we mention
Mhm.
about James Comer? All
Sure,
right.
tell me whatever you want about
So,
James
so
Comer.
James Comer, if you don't know, he's a representative, and he's a state representative from Kentucky, and
Oh, Kentucky.
he is from my district, JJ. He is from one county over. I've seen
Oh,
him many, many times. He is a very nice guy.
you can
I
give him
don't
a high five,
I've never interviewed him for the show, but I bet he would easily do our show if we just put in a request and like
dude.
my talk. I
Would
know
love.
not our show. I don't know about
Oh.
our show. I was talking about my radio show, not our bullshit. And fuck no, they won't do this bullshit. Your
Oh,
eyes
how many subscribers you got?
really? That was no. I mean, my
Can you do
Wednesday morning
that?
talk show on my radio station. But he is the one. For those that don't know, James Comer, he's the one that has been sticking it to Joe Biden. He is
Yes.
trying to point out every single illegal thing that this man does. And it's honestly, it's kind of scary because of what he's doing. But I'm glad that he's fucking doing it. And I'm proud to say that he is a local boy and he represents us here in this
That's awesome. That's awesome. I have to wave the flag for Dan Crenshaw, so that's never gonna fucking
Oh, well,
happen.
wait a minute. I'm sorry, JJ. I'm sorry.
Let's do war. Let's do more war.
I don't know. I love the eye patch though.
All
If
right.
I would have a one-eyed Willie eye patch and I'd say "Arr!" all the fucking time.
If I had an eye patch, I would draw an eye on it, but I'd have the eye looking off another direction so that every time you saw me, you'd have to resolve like, why is the fake eye looking
Yeah.
over there, and you'd be confused constantly. That's what I would do. All right. So James Comer is running the House Oversight Committee, and they have released some eye patch McCain. I don't get eye patch McCain. Investigators released details on the banking trail. Leading from China to the Biden family. Now, for years and years, conspiracy theorists have been saying that. Oh, good morning, showstopper. Come here. Can I have a hug? She's in there, and
I can't find my blanket.
you can't find your blanket. Have you looked on your bed?
No, I mean my soft blanket. Why had to get a cold?
I'm certain it's on your bed.
Well, it's not. I checked.
Okay.
I cannot feel the mermaid.
Okay. Well, let's go look again.
Well, I can because is not gonna be there.
Oh.
I checked in my secret door and only
Okay.
was Joe's blanket.
Come here. Come here. People can't hear you as you're explaining this to me. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, here we go. Good morning. Now you're missing a soft. This is more important than James Comer and Chinese money.
Absolutely.
You're missing a soft blanket.
Yeah, I'm missing it.
You're missing it.
Super
And
soft?
have you looked on the floor
What
by
color
your
is it?
bed?
What color is it?
What color is your super soft mermaid blanket?
Pink.
It's pink.
And it's already in my bed. I'm not looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the purple.
Oh, the purple. Okay. And did you try turning the light on?
Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea, Dad.
Yeah. Blink. Okay. So James Comer's released banking details in a document which I happen to have available right here.
Yay! Let's hear.
Yay! I know you love banking details. Check this out.
This is interesting, though.
So in March 2017, just 2 months after Joe Biden left public office, this State Energy 8 Hong Kong Limited, a Chinese company, wired $3 million to Robinson Walker LLC.
Okay.
At the time, Walker had $159,000 in his bank account. So he started with $159,000. He got $3 million, and then some suspicious things start happening.
What is? Can you explain what Robinson Walker? Are you going to get to that?
I think it's just an intermediary. It's like a, I mean, I don't know who Robinson Walker is, but I know that he didn't have anything more than $159,000.
Well, Robinson an LLC is a liability company, limited liability company.
I think it's a business partner.
Yeah.
Mrs. Walker established that, I don't know, in Delaware. Okay, so it's in Delaware. So China sent Robinson Walker LLC $3 million, and they had almost no $1 million, right? Basically no money. And then they got $3 million. And then over the next 2 months, Robinson Walker LLC started sending money out to Haley Biden, and a couple of accounts marked Biden, which I believe may have been claimed to be Haley Biden, but they're not 100%. They're not sure. It's just marked Biden, and a couple of companies owned by Hunter Biden and James Biden. So 3 Bidens, but definitely not Joe. 3 Bidens got a bunch of money, $1 million out of, which is 30% from this Chinese money. So it kind of looks like China said, here's a bag of money. Make sure that some of it gets to the Bidens. And then a bunch of it got to the Bidens. And this is one transaction out of, he's still digging into financial thing. And then of course the White House says, this is totally spurless. It means nothing. It looks a whole lot like China pays the Biden family, and then Biden does whatever they want. So that's what it looks like. But, that doesn't necessarily mean that's where it is. President Biden denies that his family got money from a Chinese energy firm. He denies that his family got money from a Chinese energy firm, in spite of bank records that are demonstrating that his family got money from a Chinese energy firm. I don't know if Deacon's frozen or whatever.
No, I've got a problem.
Oh, no. So, now, is this going to change anything? Somehow, surprisingly, this will change nothing. It will change absolutely nothing. The people that vote for Biden are going to vote for Biden, and the people that vote for Trump are going to vote for Trump.
Yeah, it's not going to change anything. The people that love Biden. I posted that fucking picture over the weekend over our Discord server, and we have people in there that don't agree with us, and they were like, "Oh, it's false." And I'm like, you know what, man? If you're just going to completely, if people just completely dismiss the fact that Joe Biden could be a pedophile, if you're just going to dismiss that shit because of whatever you've read, then I think that's a bigger problem than you think it is.
Well,
because
do you know how
video of that man sniffing fucking little girls, and if you think that is anywhere near appropriate, then I really don't think that we can I don't want to associate with people that think
my personal dad radar is like, oh, that's a bad guy. Nope, that's a guy you do something
if
to.
my father started sniffing my daughter, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Get the fuck off of her.
If your father was in your phone as Pedo Pete, that would be kind of like
that would be a big,
clue.
huge red flag, wouldn't it?
Right. So Biden is denying it. We'll see. I mean, basically, you can't. This is literally like pretty convincing evidence. You could have concrete proof that Joe Biden literally flew over and scooped up a bunch of Chinese money and brought it back to the United States, and the establishment would still give it a big pass.
I wouldn't believe it.
So, I mean, good job for James Comer. And let me be clear, there's really not much more that House Republicans can do right now other than run committees and bring in people and subpoena them and do questioning and do oversight. They can't really pass legislation. Even if they do, it won't get through the Senate. Even if they do, it won't get through the White House. So, like, this is what we have right now. Mr. E is disagreeing with the nature of your post on Discord, and we can definitely take that conversation to Discord. And everybody else is invited to join. There's a link in the description below. When you join our server, you join an exclusive, super awesome community that's filled with memes and people that don't necessarily agree with things, and that's totally okay. I am happy that we don't agree on things because that's the only way we can ever talk about shit and figure things out. And also, you get notifications if we go do the show. Hold on. I have a important note from my wife. What's that, dear?
Yeah. Remember that in marriage, the only way we figure shit out is if we fight.
The only way we figure things out is if we fight. That's right. Fight civilly, not fight with bullets.
Right. It's hard to. It's hard. When you're as a couple, you're wanting to like, we need to have a conversation about this. It's hard to have a fucking conversation sometimes when you're pissed off at the other person because they just won't listen to you. And I tell Ashley's, we've got a little saying to each other that we don't say it all the time, but when we're ill at each other, we're like, look, and I told her this once, I was like, just because I'm fucking pissed off right now doesn't mean that I don't love you. I love you unconditionally. I love you, but I really don't like you right now.
That's what we say. I am not repeating that.
That's what we say. She'll say that. She's like, I love you, but I don't like you right now. You know, and it's not being ugly.
I have to be honest. I've heard that.
Yeah, it's our little, and it shouldn't hurt your feelings because I love her very much, but sometimes I don't like her. You know, when she's in a certain mood or she's in a certain way, I just don't like
her. You know how you do like relationship kind of fights where you have to discuss stuff. It's always when you're well rested, you have nothing else on your mind. Right. You have no additional stressors whatsoever. It's when you've already eaten and you haven't drank anything.
Right.
All of those things.
Eaten. You have to eat. Yes. Hangry is a thing. That is a real thing.
It sure is. Your outfit looks great.
No, can I wear those shoes?
Yes, you can. I think this looks good.
This is close, but
I think it looks fine. All right. I do want to point out bye, honey. I do want to point out my amazing art that's hanging here on the wall. This is
you're the person that I'm going to send this to. Sweet.
Me
and Kendra came up with an idea last night while we were sitting there, and we were like, "This is a brilliant idea." And I'm not even going to hint at what it is because I'm fucking straight up. We were like, we got to go to Michael's. We can make this. And I'm going to make them straighten up doing it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm eager to hear what this is about.
I want people to, I won't forget this. This is an ongoing thing. So leave that picture up until, all right.
This picture is my daughter's rendition of El Corazón de Fer, which is the Heart of Fur by Fer de Silva. That's the original artist, but this is my daughter. Let me see if I can put this in frame. That's my daughter who was just in here looking for a blanket, painting that painting. And so now it's going to hang in my
That's
background.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. It looks better than the original one.
I have a drawer at the house full of look at this. Hang on. Look, you see this?
Yeah, man.
This is a collection of artwork from my daughter and my kids. Look, she made a book. It's called Your Mom.
That's a guy with a hat.
Yeah. Here's
Okay. Oh, I
Yeah.
see a tie-dye shirt in there. Interesting.
We color sometimes. So she made this for me. I'm trying to
Nice.
find my favorite picture. Okay, so here is my favorite picture that she ever did. Maggie's 11 now, okay? But when she was like 3, she drew this picture. And it got wet, but I have a picture of it before it got wet and kind of smeared. And I want to get this tattooed on my leg or on my arm. I don't know where I'm going to get this tattooed, but I am going to get this tattooed on me.
If you wait till she's 16, then you can get her to tattoo it on you.
That's me and her. You see the wet at the bottom down there?
Yeah.
But that's me and her, and you see that's my hair. That's not headphones. That was my hair that had grown.
Oh, out. I was gonna say, is that headphones?
No,
that's hair.
And that's her. And it's our shirt. So she ended up redoing it.
Yeah, but the first one's got a little bit more like heart.
But I've got a picture of this on my phone without this.
Without the smudge.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get it tattooed. That's my favorite picture of all time. Yeah,
that's awesome.
All right, yeah, let's dad stuff. All right, there's our mandatory dad stuff.
Yeah. Today. Why are you guys talking about dad stuff? This show, God, come on. Anybody that's watching right now on a Monday after we've been gone for a week, you guys know. But if anybody's out there watching it after the fact, and by the way, Deke, we had people like subscribing during the week we were gone. I was like, what's going on?
More people subscribe when we're not.
I was like, what's going on? Why are you guys subscribing to the show? We have no new content. No, we had not say customers, not customers. We had new viewers join last week. And so, welcome. I hope you enjoy the show. And if you are watching the show later, for some reason, you got this far in the show, you don't know what's going on. That's Deacon. I'm JJ. And every morning, your two dads drink coffee and talk about the news. And we absolutely reserve the right to be wrong. So
I'm wrong all the time.
Oh, yeah. I don't have to be accurate about this. Do I look like I'm a fucking news station? I'm a guy reading the news on the internet. So I'm allowed to be wrong and have opinions. And you are too. All right. That's all we got this morning. I'm going to go dress my kids.
No, that's not all we've got this morning.
That's not all we've got this morning.
This is the part of the show, dear viewer, that I would like to remind you that this is where JJ and I like to tell dad jokes. Since we've been talking about dad, and we needed a cool way to end the show, and we know at least one of our viewers hates this segment of the show, but we know that you love it. So if you have a dad joke, please send them to us on our FUNSLINGERS Discord server or on Twitter, or you can send it through a carrier pigeon, or I don't know, just give it to someone on a bicycle and they'll give it to us. JJ, I know we didn't cover this in the news today, but did you hear about the Mike Tyson news over the weekend? That his house was like he was cooking drugs and it blew up.
Gosh.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's house blew up because it was a huge meth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a huge meth.
Oh, I gotta say that one is that one's mess. That's not that great. That's
hilarious. Come on, that's a good one.
No, I'm gonna rate that low.
Well, you're just trying to. Trying to appease anybody that's going to be offended by it?
Yeah. Deacon, do you have cows? You have cows. Kentucky, there's cows. You got ranchers and stuff like that.
God, yes.
So many cows. Do you know why they lack? Do you know why?
You've already screwed up the joke.
Why don't cows have toes?
I don't know, JJ. Why do cows not have toes?
They lack toes.
See, and you thought mine was? You thought
mine's better. Bad? I think mine's better. All right, guys, leave a comment in the description. Which joke was better? Leave a comment in the description. Tell us to stop doing the show. Whatever. Just leave a comment. I just need
your
to
joke was ludicrous.
That's ludicrous. Oh, that's yours. Your joke with ludicrous.
I love it. And if Mike Tyson is listening, I love you. Please, I'm just
don't come to my house, Mike. I love you, Mike.
It's racist.
I like my ears. I like you. You stay over there. I'll stay over here. Dude, Mike Tyson, he was pretty old a couple years ago and decided he was just going to do a a boxing demo. You know, it was like, I'm just gonna get in shape and do a boxing demo with like an old rival, and they got in there. He fucked that dude up.
Mike Tyson is a different human being.
He's a
Did you
totally different type of monster.
you were alive? We were alive when, and we were in our. We remember watching Mike Tyson fight during the day, and I'm sure. If you didn't watch Mike Tyson fight, that was like a month-long buildup to a Mike Tyson fight. It was the hugest buildup in the world. Mike Tyson fighting whoever, and the fucking thing lasted. You would pay-per-view was $30, and everybody would go, and you'd pay all this and get ready, and the Mike Tyson would knock him out in 30 seconds.
Right. There were two kinds of guys that fought Mike Tyson. The first kind of guy was the guy that thought that he stood a chance to finally take Mike down. And the other guy was like, I'm just going to get knocked out and get paid.
That's what I always said. That was the question. Would you, because those guys that jumped in the ring with Mike Tyson were making like millions of dollars for it.
Yeah.
And I always thought, would you get hit? Would you get knocked out? That Mike Tyson was so fast and could punch so hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't like permanently kill somebody.
I don't know how we got into this.
Amazing
I really like Mike Tyson. Let me say this.
I liked boxing back then.
You can find, I do too. You can find Mike Tyson doing podcasts and doing interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I love Mike Tyson.
That guy has been on a personal growth journey for years.
Yeah, and when people say,
he was
raped the girl and he did this and blah, blah, blah. Well, you're not fucking perfect either. Or are you the same person that when you were 18, 19, 20 years old? And I'm not saying he paid his dues, but he has been trying to improve himself. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like engages, like, look, when I was young, especially when I was young, I was full of anger and full of like testosterone and anger and violent and fighting, like it pumped something up in him that was like, it just made it like more intense. And he has been coming to terms with that for like a long time. Like
all those fights.
He stopped training for a while. Yeah.
All those fighting guys have that mentality. I watch videos all the time, but I just watched one over this past week of one of those fucking MMA guys walking through a bar and some drunk guy was standing there dancing or something, accidentally bumped him or whatnot. And he just kind of pushed. No, he didn't bump him. The MMA guy was walking through and the guy was in his way and the MMA guy just pushed him out of the way because he's the fucking main character, of course, because he's got that fucking attitude. And that guy turned around and was like, who the fuck are you? Blah, blah, blah. And that MMA guy punched him one time, just hauled off and punched him right in the face. That dude flew backwards, probably had to go to the hospital.
Right.
And it's because those type of mentality, that fighting mentality, that's a completely different human, man. That's a completely different brain.
And if you know what you're doing, if you like, just watching people fight on TV, if you are a trained martial and up against a dude in a bar, they have no chance. But
a trained martial artist is not going to use it for offense in the first place. All right. A trained martial artist,
unless of course he's just
everything for
irritated.
Yeah. But a trained, someone trained trained enough not to let somebody irritate you to the point to where you're going to use offense.
Mental discipline.
Yeah, your mental discipline. And that's what a lot of these fighters don't have is mental discipline. They like Mike Tyson said, I was angry and fighting is what got it out of me. That's what all of them do. It's honestly like if we really care about our MMA fighters and you really love that, then maybe we should start talking about getting them more mental health, like our football players hitting, maybe we need to start doing that a little bit more in this country. I don't know.
Maybe.
We're getting into a completely different topic.
I don't know. I like to watch UFC. If those guys all went to counseling, we wouldn't get to watch UFC fights. Okay.
Would you rather watch a UFC fight and what kind of society is it to where I guess we've always been a society where we have bread and circuses and we watch gladiators kill each other.
Man, you got to.
That's why we're never
that's
going
what humans
to be.
Do.
That's why we're never going to be a civilized society. Humans are humans, and we're always going to be like that. We're always going to be like that. So all these people that want to live in a civilized society, fuck you. We still have MMA on TV.
Yeah, don't think that we're so much more evolved and advanced than our ancestors.
Than they were 5,000 fucking years ago. We're not.
Yeah, we're not. You're just as primitive. You just have to be in the right conditions, and you're gonna scrabble with
the
people
emperor.
Too.
The Emperor Biden still gives us our bread and circuses, and they please.
Let's switch channels. This show is dull.
You bet.
I'm going. Bye.
Bye, everybody. forgot to push the